Peace, peace of mind and love divine. Travel with your man all the way through so we can see what comes out of this way. Man, I hope everybody having a good time in life. With these understandings I'm finna bring, you will be having a good time in life. If I'm correct, I don't know if we are aware of the things that we should know and understand. Let's see, if you are 35 male, years older, and maybe a 30-year-old woman and older, you should know and understand this by now. Now, if you are not into reading scriptures, then you would never understand the scriptures until someone who understands the scriptures come to you. So when you hear my voice, this voice is to you. So all that hear the sounds of my voice, I am talking to you. The purpose of this channel is for you. So now in understanding things for you, we have to understand some things that are fun in life that I call fundamentals. Now it's fundamental to know that first, that God and man are one. That's the first thing to know, to have fun in life with these fundamentals. First fundamental, God and man are one. Second fundamental, if you know and understand knowledge of self, and the knowledge of self is that God and man are one, and this what you learn about yourself is the understanding of others. So we have to be able to have a good time in life. And the only way you're going to have a good time if you have good teachings. In these times of life, we need teachings that are founded, not lost, but founded in truth. If you have no teachings of truth, then you have no knowledge of understanding. Because truth is the only understanding. So when we know and understand the wisdom of the one, we understand the second fundamental, knowledge of self. So life is very easy, like man and woman. So we have to understand, not in these streets, not on these computer streets. You don't want to be a deadhead. Do not be a deadhead, nor become a deadhead. A deadhead is one who lacks knowledge of self. And so deadheads love talking spirits. And talking spirits love dead heads. If the head is dead, then the head is dead by way of the heart. Once the heart grow cold through lacking knowledge of self, of yourself, This is how your heart grows cold. So we have to understand the beginnings of life to actually understand where everything else comes from in life. So when people use the word God, this is the beginning of the original starting first of all. But the understanding of God has been misconstrued due to the lack of knowledge of self. Without knowledge of self, there is no understanding of self. And so if we have no understanding of self, then all self has is a word. And word can be used for talking spirits. Talking spirits don't speak truth because of dead heads. You have to be alive to speak the truth. So when we understand the knowledges that was not given in the systems of schooling is why majority black man and black woman are having trouble with harmonies of life. All over the world, people are bringing harm, but especially the black man and black woman. They are bringing harm to each other, destroying the harmonies of life. And this is due to the lack of understanding. And once we have the knowledge of truth, we have the understanding of truth. And once you have the understanding of truth, now you have the power to choose. Without truth, there is no choice. The only choice is the default of not knowing the truth. So it's a difference between knowing God and knowing the truth. The first fundamental is the truth of God. That God and man are one. So when the female and the male, or the feminine and the masculine, intertwines into connection, they become man. And man is something greater than mine, as mine is man. So we have to really understand the knowledge of discipline. To begin the knowledge of discipline is to begin harnessing self-knowledge. So, and to understand is to begin to awaken the heart. Once the heart is awakened, now the heart can be the source to the resource of the head. Your health is your brain. Your sickness is your stupidity. The ignorance births all sicknesses, just like truth is the panacea to all healings. We have been stuck in a trick and trap system known as information. These informations is not to give you information. These informations is to inform, mate you. It's to put you in a certain form. And once you understand that you are beyond form and you have form, now you can begin the understandings of discipline, have and have nots. So you have all things in existence, but you can believe that you have not. So this is the understanding of God and man is one. Because with God, that is every part of man. And man is every part of God. And man is the feminine and the masculine as one. This is what produced the man. The man is not a gender. So understand when we're talking about knowledge of self, this is the understandings of truth. So all people are God. Because all people come from the great God, Allah. Allah, the Almighty, is the great good and divine creator of all existence. To understand what I said is to understand the knowledge of self. Self was made by such a great quality as mentioned. But through early childhood schooling, from the kindergarten all the way to colleges, this knowledge was unknown. So who kept you away from this knowledge was the devil himself. The devil himself don't want you to know anything but a lie. If the devil taught you the truth, he would no longer be the devil. The self is up. It is up to self for self to teach self the truth. All I want you to do is to hear me on truth. I am here to help you raise you up to the God that you once were. All the people in all the worlds once had this knowledge. But through the devil's technology, this understanding have been lost and robbed. So we must understand these understandings in order to have self-fulfillment. This is the journey of self. You know, they want to call it many other names to distract you and to disappropriate you from proper identification instead of misassignments. And this is what we have to understand. Doesn't matter about the teachings if the teachings ain't about truth. Truth is how you are free. In order to know the truth, you must be the truth. So one can speak to you, but that speaking to you doesn't mean you know. When you know, you doing what you know. So we have to know and understand what we know. How do you understand? How do you know you understand what you know? What understanding gives you the surety that you have knowledge? You have the all possibility to all knowing. But the way to all knowing is not playing wise. Actually getting wise is how you play wise. You know how they used to play with toys? See, the wise play wise. We have to understand 5 things in order to have a great sense of awareness, of self-awareness. And we'll cover that as we continue to increase. But these are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Each is a limb of one body. And as this body represents divine principles, these divine principles are divine principles in action. This is how you be what you know. It's time to awake from the sleep. And it's time to stay awake instead of daydream. You have all powers and potentialities to open all possibilities for self and for others. When you unlock yourself, you unlock the self of others. We have all been born under a system of falsehood. So a lot of us have grew to love falsehood more than truth. I love truth more than falsehood. So when we are speaking about the understandings, there's only one understanding, and that's the wisdom of truth. That you exist, and you can't count that out. So as spring begins, we're going to be opening self-mastery workshops and activations for you to be able to activate once you receive the knowledge of self. This is not about sitting knowledge of self. This is no book. Knowledge of self is no book, so you can't put knowledge of self on the shelf. So now you have entered the truth, and you are self-initiating yourself into the divine truth by your own understanding. And through your own understanding is how you build self, peace of mind, and love divine.